put your integrity first, put your work first, replicating yourself as a leader, for me, that is success. People begin to think that you do not have integrity. It means you cannot be a journalist anymore. It means that people would not want to listen to you anymore. Do not ride on the back of sex to achieve it. Young journalists will have to be really aggressive. Aggression and passion. The need to want to be the one who breaks the good stories. It doesn't matter which side of the world you're coming from. If you will shine, you will definitely shine.
I am your host Gaurav Garg and we welcome all our viewers to our show Amazing Mentor. Today with us is Miss Odelia. She heads the business programming unit that takes care of 12 media brands in Multimedia Group Limited. She is the only female business journalist leading a business brand in Ghana competitive media landscape. She loves to use media to help brands, CEOs and products get magnified and visible. It's a pleasure to welcome Miss Odelia to our show Amazing Mentor. Welcome, Miss Odelia.
Thank you. And I'd like to quickly add also that I've added a big thing to my profile now. I was privileged to speak to 60 media leaders all over the world on the BBC on the great things that we're doing here at the Multimedia Group, the business news department.
That's great. Many more to come.
Yes.
How was your childhood and do childhood memories make you happy or sad?
My childhood memories actually make me know that God has been faithful. I've come really far because the first time I came to Accra, which is the capital city of Ghana, that was in 1994, I couldn't speak a straight sentence in English. I had to borrow books from my classmates. I was privileged to even be in that school because my father was a teacher. He was the headmaster of the school. And that's how come I was able to join that school, which was an Ivy League school, to have my education. I went to one of the best secondary schools in Ghana just because I went through that channel. And so it just shows me that I am really on the mind of God. God really wants me to affect my generation, and also to encourage people to say that it doesn't matter which side of the world you're coming from. If you will shine, you will definitely shine.
Rightly said. So tell us about your educational background, schooling and higher education.
So I went to primary school in one of the, now a town, but previously a village called Eburi. And that place has also the secondary school that I attended is also in the same place. And I came to Accra to have my junior high education, and then my senior high education went back to that village for my senior high education at Grey Girls Secondary School. And then I had my first degree in geography in Ghana's largest public university, that's the University of Ghana. And then from there, I also did my master's in the University of Cape Coast, where I studied oil and gas communication. That's my formal education. I also have had training in journalism from DW Television. I've also had training from KPMG, which is the accounting company, global accounting company. I've also had training from Bloomberg, which is a global company as well. And now my training with DW Television from Germany was actually in documentary filmmaking.
So what was your dream profession as a child and how many times did it change by seeing inspirational people around?
I'll say that I knew I would go into a talking business, but to really say that I knew I was going to be a journalist was not like part of the plan, because obviously I'm studying geography. One day I visit one of the halls in my university, and then I meet a gentleman who becomes my friend. And he says, "Look, I think you have a nice voice. I think you should go into radio." And I said, "Radio, me? Like totally out of the question." And when I ran it even by my friends just couldn't wrap their minds around it. I actually applied for the job the gentleman said because I didn't want to keep seeing him in the school. He was a handsome guy. I didn't want to continue seeing him in the school and to disappoint a handsome man. So I decided that, look, let me just get rid of this guy. Let me just do this for him and then have my peace of mind. And that's how I applied for the student volunteer radio station. And that's how I got to be part of Radio Universe, which is actually the student radio station at the University of Ghana.
So as you told that your father was a teacher, you never thought of being a teacher then?
No, never. Because I wasn't happy about my father's financial state as a teacher. He wasn't rich, and I wanted to be rich. So definitely I didn't want to be a teacher. But by some strange circumstances, I have also done some lecturing in one of the private universities in Ghana, teaching young people how to really go into television and radio production.
So any school or college life memories that you would like to share with us?
In school, I actually led a very boring life because I was constantly working. So from first year up to fourth year, which was the final year, I was always working. So I never got a boyfriend from the university. No guy wanted to date me at the time because I was just too busy. So one day, between myself and my friends, I asked the gentleman, I was like, hey, how come none of you wants to date me? And then they said, look, we are too serious. We don't want to be associated with any serious person now. We want to have a lot of fun. And for me, that's one of the funniest memories going to the University of Ghana. But I mean, there were very serious things that also happened whilst I was in Legon. For example, I became the general secretary while still working at the student volunteering station, and then even as a full-time worker at City FM, I was still the general secretary of my hall, and the hall has over 1,000. The hall has close to 5,000 students, and I was the general secretary. I mean, it's a mixture of many things: fun, and then work, and all of that.
So, what about your hobbies and interests?
I like to read. I'd like to connect with people. I like networking because I feel that without networking, if you're a professional, you cannot actually exist. And so for me, networking is really, really critical. And I've been doing quite a lot of that. I also like to find out from young people, and of course, even people in the corporate space, CEOs, what I can do to make their lives better. I'm always about giving to other people, and most of the time not even expecting to get anything back, but just so that I impact other people, and to see people that I'm impacting actually really grow. There are so many young people in my department currently that I am really impacting, and I am so excited seeing them and how they're growing and their aspirations and listening to them. That makes me excited. It makes me really feel fulfilled. And it may not necessarily always be about money, but for me, impact is really critical.
What about the inspiration? Was there any inspirational people around in your childhood?
Yes. I mean, for my working period, my former boss was a great inspiration for me. How she was able to network in this country as a young woman journalist, how she had made so many contacts from presidency to the least person. Everybody mentions her name, Emma Morrison. I really admire that. So in Ghana, she has actually been my inspiration, and I think that she's also very proud of how I have understudied her up to this point. Globally, my inspiration is Zainab Badawi. Zainab Badawi works with the BBC. I like her a lot because I think that she reads a lot. And by the time she's done with one interview, is so loaded with research that the person she's interviewing cannot actually go contrary to what her expectations are in terms of answers, because she really paints you down with information that sometimes you yourself do not even know about yourself. So I find that really in-depth, and it's something that I have adopted and I also do when I have the opportunity for an interview.
So where did you start your career journey from?
Actually, from the university. From my first year, I was working as a student volunteer for a radio station. And then by my third year, I was working full-time at City FM, a radio station. And then I followed in 2009 at a TV station and called TV3. And I'm currently here at the Multimedia Group.
So what challenges did you face while starting your career journey?
In this part of the world, you are hired into an organization, and most of the time, 90% of the time, you are not trained for the role. And so there's too much expectation on you, yet the business owners have not trained you for that expectation. And then if you do not deliver, you are shown the door. For a young professional at the time, that was very stressful. Because you are trying to find your feet, navigate, and then whilst just when you feel that, okay, you are just trying to find your feet, if you're not careful, you're shown the door. And if you're working in environments like that, it's not very healthy. So for me, training was always what I felt that these companies should be doing for young professionals. Apart from that, also, if you're a woman, obviously, just because of your gender, you will have certain people will look at you, even if you're delivering their perspectives of you just being a woman. Apart from that, also, just when you are peaking or just when you're doing so well, because you're a woman, naturally, biologically, you have to produce children, and then that sort of like truncates your growth. So for me, these are some of the challenges that I have had to go through. I mean, it's been really, really, really a Herculean task, combining motherhood with a role. And sometimes you want to even have more children, but you're asking yourself, should you combine a fresh baby with a new role and all that kind of thing? So yes, these are real challenges. You may not get women talk about it, but it's actually one of the biggest challenges we have. And I think it's a global phenomenon. And unless companies are creating a special regime for women, we can really not compete with men who will not be carrying babies along the way.
So it's very clear in your communication that the journalist field is mainly male dominated, and there are certain challenges which females have to face. So what are those main challenges which only female gender have to face if she want to be a journalist?
I think you have to be able to really balance fame with morality, because the more famous you become, the more men you get to know, and several of them want to be associated with you. 90% of the association is expected to be sexual, and if you're not keeping your head really cool, you may actually enter relationships that you will regret later. So for me, I think that for young people, especially women, trying to get into this space, you must be ready for integrity. Put your integrity first. Put your work first. And do not have a clouded judgment, because people are coming to you not because of anything, but it's because you become famous. You have become someone that everybody would want to be associated with. So you get to meet a lot of fake people. And if you're not a level-headed person, you'll be swept off your feet.
So what's that one thing you love about your profession the most?
Hey, it gives you so much power. You have so much power. I mean, you can enter anywhere. You don't need permission. You can speak to anybody in this country. People that ideally even big CEOs cannot reach. You can reach the president if you want to. You can speak to anybody that is of influence and of power in this country. And for me, I feel so powerful.
As we see in many films, with power there is great responsibilities also. So you
Say
have
that
many, so you have many life-threatening experiences also as a journalist. So what's going in your mind when you risk your life for a news?
I remember going to one of the villages in the northern part of Ghana where I almost drowned. And fortunately for me, at the time, my cameraman got everything on camera and we were able to show it when I came back. At that time, actually nothing was going through my mind. All that was going through my mind was that I needed to get this story done. And for me, it doesn't matter the risk. I mean, at that time. But now, those sort of risks, I would take very calculated risks now, because it's not just about me now, it's about my family. And it's about many people who actually draw inspiration from me. So when you're young, you're willing to take risks, you're willing to do a lot of crazy things just for the profession. But as you grow, you have family and you have several responsibilities. You are looking at how to have a real balance so that you still continue to serve many other people who actually will have greater benefits from you.
So what was your first award and how was the feeling when you received that award?
Okay, so my first award was one connected to the Millennium Development Goals at the time. You know, the Millennium Development Goals ended in 2015. I got the award in 2013, and it was a story on a woman who was a midwife working in a village where they sleep on benches to help pregnant women deliver. And when she had to suction mucus from the nose of fresh babies, she virtually had to sometimes use her mouth or use some unorthodox means. After telling this story, the next day, I got a philanthropist who made a donation to the CHIPS compound. It wasn't like a fully fledged hospital, a small mini clinic. And then the Australian High Commission at the time also built them a hospital. Now that was actually, for me, really fulfilling, because the whole value chain as a journalist is to see impact, to see results. And once you do a story and you see results, and then you are rewarded at the end of the day for the results that you have to show, it's really exciting. And that really made me excited.
So who is your mentor in professional life?
Well, I think I've mentioned them. My former boss, and then Zainab Badawi globally. I look at their work and I basically want to learn from them all the time. My former boss, because she has great connections. She has great human relations that sustains her connections. And then Zainab Badawi, because she does a lot of research into the interviews that she conducts. And for me, that is really solid.
What was the most challenging phase of your life?
I think growing up with a single father was really a very challenging time, because naturally men are not supposed to take care of children. It's naturally a woman's job, especially from this part of the country. And so to see my father go through so much just to make sure that we get the needed support and to get to where we really want to be, for me, I found it really challenging. And it's not a phase in my life I'd like to relive, no.
So you told that catching the wind was only in your mind when you were drawing in the Ghana Northern Belt. What was the news for which you risked your life?
Yeah, I was following a teacher who actually walks to school, and he takes about 12 hours to get to the school. He has to do this twice every week. So whilst he's going, he will use moto up to a point. He will cross rivers up to a point, and he will walk up to a point. That was really like a very strange way of getting children to have education. And I found that story worth all the time that I spent on it.
What's your definition for success?
Impact. That's my definition for success. It's about impact. You cannot be successful without making impact. And for me, many people may say they've been successful because they made money. For me, it's not about money, it's about impact. If you've been able to help young people to achieve they're supposed to achieve, replicating yourself as a leader, for me, that is success.
So how important are awards to you, and does award motivate you to do more?
Of course. Everybody wants to have a certain form of reward. It shouldn't be, it can always be a byword. A byproduct, sorry. So yes, naturally I'm a self-motivated person. I don't really need to have awards before I get my work done. Basically, that's how my father has trained me. But everybody knows that whatever they are going to do will have a certain level of reward. They will work hard to make sure that they get that reward. But it's not the center of why I will execute something or get my work done. No.
So you have 20 plus years of experience till date, which includes journalist experience as well as corporate exposure. How is your journey till date?
I will say that it's been an exciting journey as a media leader in the country. For me, I think I've made a lot of impact as a journalist, written stories that have helped in the promulgation of certain laws like the mental health law currently. A lot of work I did in the mental health space. Currently, with the role that I play, seeing that entrepreneurs, businesses, corporates actually benefit from the content and the products that I generate is exciting. And for my journey as a media leader, I see that it's been an exciting one.
So if you are able to get hold of time machine, which phase of your life would you like to roll back?
My time traveling around the world, covering stories. I love to travel. So I would turn back the time up to 2009, where I started really traveling the world over. In every year, I used to go to about 3 countries, up to 2013. Then I got married, had children, and then travels started staggering. But if I have the opportunity, I'll turn back the clock at that time. And guess what? I would like to go to, these are the countries I'd like to visit again. Singapore, Japan, and of course, the United States of America. 3 countries I'd like to visit again if I had the time and the opportunity to turn back the clock.
So what's the motto of your life?
I think impact is the motto of my life. I am excited always to see that people are growing around me. People are one piece of advice or one thing of motivation can help somebody to really turn around their life quickly and then move on to becoming successful. So for me, impact is the motto of my life.
So you have also helped in empowering women and girls by giving them rare opportunities of internship and employment in your department, which is male dominated, yes. Of course. So what motivates you to do this, and is there any real life incidents associated with it?
Yes, when I joined the television station at the time in 2009, I noticed that when it comes to the business desk, because it was mathematically related, you wouldn't find, I was the only woman on the desk at the time. The rest of the girls always wondered how I did it, how I survived, how you have to hear about the budget and report on the budget, how you have to hear about the stocks and report on the stocks. And so when I had the opportunity to become a woman leader, anytime there were opportunities for internship, or I had the opportunity to talk to young people who were looking for internships, I always opened my eyes to see that young girls who were coming to my department were actually getting the opportunity. And it's been exciting to see young girls take the shot at the business news and the business department.
As head of the Business Programming Unit, Multimedia Group Limited, what are your roles and responsibilities?
So there's the marketing bit. There's also the coordinating the team bit. There's the recruitment bit to get people into the department. There's the content creation bit. You have to create the kind of content that will be sellable. And then there's also the interfacing between the business of the group and also the business community, and also basically managing the human relation aspect of things with our customers.
So, what all are do's and don'ts you would suggest while starting your professional journey as a journalist?
Integrity, integrity, integrity. I'll say integrity 3 times because the work we do as journalists is based on integrity. So if people know that you do not have integrity as a journalist, you have lost it, because everything you're saying, people are not there. You are bringing the news, and so people will have to believe in you. So if people begin to think that you do not have integrity, it means you cannot be a journalist anymore. It means that people would not want to listen to you anymore. And that is a big challenge for you as a journalist. It then means that you don't have a job. So for me, integrity, integrity, integrity.
What advice would you like to give, especially to female gender, and how should they cope up with the challenges which you have discussed in the starting of our interview?
I think you must have your personal KPIs. Exactly what do you want in whichever industry that you are in as a woman. Go for it. Do not ride on the back of sex to achieve it, because it will come back biting you. As much as possible, do your things, get to the places you have to get to based on integrity, based on merit, not based on sex.
What advice would you like to give to young journalists?
I think that young journalists will have to be really aggressive. Aggression and passion. The need to want to be the one who breaks the good stories. That you should have a certain brand. Looks like people are not interested in that. They just want to be journalists. But how do you brand yourself to be known even globally as a leader in whichever space that you are in? It's what should consume you all the time as a journalist. And remember that we're having the interview today because of social media. Stay visible. Whatever things you're doing, you've got to stay visible. Talk about your achievements. Talk about the things you're doing. Even you can talk about some of your challenges and how people can make inputs in making sure that you become the best professional. And so keep working hard and know that the results of your hard work will definitely show.
So now we will start a rapid round.
Okay.
Your favorite actor and actress?
I'm an old school, so Julia Roberts and Denzel Washington.
Your favorite color?
Red, black, and white.
Your favorite destination?
Singapore.
Your favorite car?
It's called Coleman King, the most expensive SUV. Coleman King is my favorite car. I love cars.
Success in one line?
Impact.
Your favorite brand?
Louis Vuitton.
Things in your wish list?
To have, wow, that's a tough one for me because it's a tall list. Okay, so to see that my children have had the best of education in the world, to see them really do extraordinary things at a young age, that's my wish list for my children. My wish list for my husband is to see him become the biggest business mogul in the country, beating Elon Musk. Then my wish list for myself is to interview not less than 100 presidents in the world and also make so much money that I can give and give and give.
Your dream house?
My dream house should be about a 2,000 acre land, and it should be about 20 bedrooms. It should use complete Internet of Things. So when I snap my finger, the window should open. I mean, it should just completely be really tech-based.
Second choice of career.
If not a journalist, then an international marketer.
One thing that you would like to change in the world.
African leaders.
At last, one line that defines you.
Kind-hearted person.
Thank you very much for your time, and it was pleasure talking to you and listening to the life experiences and the advice you have shared on our show. Thank you very much.
You too.
Thank you very much. Thanks for watching Amazing Mentor. Do not forget to subscribe and hit the bell button to get regular updates. Thank you very much.